I have got some ghost stories for you.
I feel something crawl into the bed with me and it starts to spoon me.
There was a time where I would be in bed falling asleep and I would hear my name being called. Different voices call my name.
Poof, the person disappeared right in front of our eyes.
And we were both like, did you see that?
There was this figure of a woman. Her skin was bluish and her hands were clawed and her mouth was wide open.
So that is my ghost story.
Hi, and welcome to Haunted AF, the podcast of real ghost stories told by real people. We are your hosts. I'm Julie Fisk.
And I'm Rebecca Black.
So coming up, if you're watching on YouTube, you already know we are coming to you live from a haunted house today. Woo! So excited.
Yes.
We do have some good ghost stories, including a money glitch story coming up. And we have 2 Beyond the Pillow dreams.
Beyond the Pillow.
Yes, that we're going to need to analyze. That's all coming up.
Can't wait. But first, we have to say hi and thanks to our newest patron, Cindy Adkins. Cindy, we love you. Don't forget, there is so much exclusive content over at patreon.com/hauntedaf. And if you're looking for ways to support the podcast, please, all you have to do is leave a 5-star review and then follow the podcast wherever you can. We're literally everywhere except for Twitter because that's a cesspool.
Yeah, for real.
And that way you're going to be alerted anytime there is a new episode. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are a YouTube person. Shout out to my Aunt Kelly, who just started following us on YouTube.
Well, hello.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. So we have a couple of updates from listeners, and I want to start with this one from Terry. Hi, Rebecca and Julie. Love you both in the podcast so much. I was listening to your interview with Kit and Rory from This Paranormal Life. Wait, sidebar.
Okay.
How adorable were those guys?
They are the cutest.
Did you see they're in Puerto Rico right now?
No, I'm very jealous. Why don't we get to go to Puerto Rico, Julie?
We traveled today. We traveled 6 miles.
Woo.
I know. So anyhow, so she says, I was listening to your interview with Kit and Rory from This Paranormal Life, and I knew I needed to write you. While those cute Irishmen gave the vaults 2 no's for being haunted, I respectfully say not so fast.
Okay.
It was in 2017, and my husband, our 2 college-age daughters, and I were visiting Scotland, and we spent 2 days in Edinburgh. I love a good ghost tour, even the touristy one. So one spooky night that was straight out of a movie with like drizzle and fog and chilly temps.
Perfect.
We took a tour. I was really looking forward to it because I attract ghosties and I've had a couple of experiences. Well, the tour was great, but I didn't experience anything. Not one cold spot or unexplained hand on my back, nothing. So we called it a night and headed back to our hotel in the center of the city. That's when the spooky stuff started. My husband and I were in our big king-size bed when out of nowhere, I felt a hand stroke my hair. The touch started at my forehead and I could feel the fingers lightly stroking my hair all the way down to the ends. I thought to myself, ooh, someone's getting frisky.
Like, hey, honey. Hey.
I turned over expecting to see my husband right next to me. Nope. He's on his laptop all the way on the other side of the bed, and there's no way his arm could have reached me from there.
Oh, that sucks.
So the next morning, my daughters met us for breakfast, and my oldest was exhausted. She had nightmares all night about a demon-like creature in their room. And it was the kind of dream where like you wake up and then it picks up right where it left off. When
The
you fall back,
absolute worst.
They're the worst. Yeah. We spent one more uneventful night in that hotel, but to this day, we all swear we brought something back from the Edinburgh vaults.
Ooh, they brought it back home.
Okay, I'm going to encourage everybody to listen to that episode of This Paranormal Life.
Yeah.
Because so when they actually did the tour, it wasn't that spooky.
Mhm.
But when they're talking about it, it's crazy. Like there were tens of thousands of people who lived in these vaults back during, I think, like the time of the plague.
Which, I mean, just that story alone is terrifying.
Yeah. So they're like forcing all of the poor people underground.
Right.
But then the people who were still up top, you know, back then they would just dump their poo and pee out on the ground. So when it would start raining, it would rain down into the vaults, actually like poop and pee on all the people down there.
So unsanitary.
I
So
know.
gross.
Thanks for the amazing podcast. I love you girls. And I will send in a dead pet story soon. Terry, your new best friend from Cape Cod. Everybody, please do send your dead pet stories because we have so many theme songs that we need to share.
Amazing. All right. This next one comes from Casey. Hey, just found your podcast and I'm wishing I'd found it sooner. I just heard the episode about the old Waddell Street house in McKinney, which is where I was born and raised.
Oh, do you remember that was like
season 1, right?
1 or 2. It was like way back.
Yeah. That's the creepiest house on the planet.
We went and creeped around that place.
Right? It was all boarded up and like concreted in some areas.
And like boarded up from the inside.
Yes.
And when you could peek in, there was actual furniture and stuff still in there. It was weird.
Oh, everything from like the 30s was still in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd never heard of that house being haunted, but there's plenty going on in this town. Well, that's for sure. We know that. By the way, did you know they've got a Haunted AF McKinney Moms group now too?
What?
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe it's inspired by y'all's podcast. Thanks for keeping it going. I'm stoked to have a local show, Casey.
Okay, we need to get in touch with these moms. That's
Am I
really
allowed in? I'm not a mom.
Of course you are. You're a
Okay.
dog mom.
Okay, thank you.
Also, we got this one from Becky, who shared the alien finger dream last week. Hello. I
just want to go. I cannot help it.
You can't say alien finger
Right?
dream
Without
it's-
diddling something.
It's really nasty.
So
okay.
gross.
Hello, ladies. My husband is one of 5 children, and we were staying at his parents' house on their farm. In the 70s, his parents added on to the house, and we were sleeping in that addition. A queen-size bed was tucked into the corner of the room, and I was stuck sleeping next to the wall with my husband, who's a large man, on the open edge of the bed. Quick sidebar, I hate that.
Right, I agree. 100%.
I can't.
Why did they get the open space?
I don't know, but what is it about sleeping next to the wall that's so bad?
It's because you're like enclosed.
So back to the story. Blah, blah, blah. It was in the middle of the night when I heard this elvish giggle in my ear. It was so close. If I had brought my hand to my ear, I would have hit it. It woke me up and my heart was pounding. So I woke up my husband and told him, and then we both heard it.
No.
This time, multiple giggles coming from the corner of the ceiling of the room, but fainter. It must have moved away. I know, but I need, Becky, we need like an impression. I want to know, was it like, like, what did it sound like? How?
I am thinking of like, she said elvish, and that's what I'm thinking of. These little teeny tiny little elfy,
elf, because I'm like, okay, Lord of the Ring elves would be like, oh
no, not that.
Or is it more like Gollum that's like,
I don't maybe.
Okay, yeah.
I
Becky,
get over with Gollum at laughs.
we need an impression. Let's see. I didn't sleep anymore that night. The next morning, we told his parents, and my mother-in-law, ever the ray of religious sunshine, said it was mice.
Praise Jesus, it's mice.
I told her she had some damn happy mice. So I caught a lot of hell from my in-laws after that. Oh, well, but, and there's always a but, isn't there? A couple months back, my father-in-law, who has undergone significant health concerns and spent an enormous amount of time recuperating right outside of that bedroom, he just admitted to me that he now thinks the room is haunted.
Oh, no.
So here we go again.
Yep.
Stay spooky and keep up the good work with the show. That is from Becky. Keep us posted on that. We need to hear from the father-in-law.
Totally agree.
I want to hear, why has he changed his mind? Okay, this next story comes from Minka.
Hello, Julie and Rebecca. I just want to say I absolutely love your show so much. I'm actually going to give you 2 stories. So my first one is something about the money glitch. So my sister and one of her friends, this was when we were all in high school, were walking right across the street from our high school, and they were talking about how much they needed money, and they both wanted money, and there was a paper bag in front of them, and they were like, well, what would it be if there was money in this bag? So they opened the bag and they found $2,000 in this paper bag. Yes, I am driving in my car while I'm recording this. I am sorry. I know you're against that, but I'm being very safe. Anyway, so they found $2,000, which I'm sure between the two of them was spent between pot and food. But here's my ghost story. I was maybe in like my 20s when it happened, but backtrack a little bit. I had a crush on this boy from like 4th grade through middle school. We were always in the same friend group. We were friends. When we got to high school, we kind of drifted apart. But then one day I'm in my 20s and I'm sleeping and I wake up and he's sitting on my bed. And I was like, oh, okay, that's strange. What are you doing here? And he literally said nothing to me. He just smiled. And I was like, okay, well, I'm up now, so I have to pee. And when I came back, he was gone. And then the next day when I woke up, another mutual friend called and said that he had passed away that day before, way before I saw him in my bedroom. So that is my ghost story. I love you both. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm waiting till I can afford to be a Patreon member. And once I can, I will be. Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Oh,
Minka.
Minka.
And
that's a
remember,
great
yeah, if you're
story.
not in a place where you can be a patron, just go leave us a nice review
Yeah.
somewhere or tell a friend. Just tell
Oh,
a friend,
yes, please.
listen to this podcast. First of all, $2,000 in a bag.
Hell yeah.
That's way better than the getting an extra 20 that I got.
Same.
You know?
right?
Normally, when you hear those stories, though, don't you feel like they're like, oh, so we turned it into the police?
Yeah,
and then
no.
they're like,
We're
no,
keeping it ourselves. Let's buy a
Exactly.
car, kids.
So why do you think her crush from middle school came back to her like that?
Maybe he really like loved her or something, or he also had a crush.
Or that's what I was thinking. Or was he like her person? Like they just hadn't had their time yet.
Maybe so.
Isn't that made me really
That's
sad.
sad. Why do you gotta go there?
I'm sorry. I gotta go and f- things up. That's what I do, Rebecca.
Oh yeah, but this will make it better.
Did you dream of a haunted hall or a vampire sultry call? Maybe ghosts were having tea or zombies dancing merrily. From spooky sights to steamy nights, your dreams take flight in eerie lights. A haunted house or a vampire spree will tell you what it means to be. In the world of dreams we know all the secrets lie beyond the pillow.
I can't help but think that Elizabeth, whose haunted house we're in, we look crazy to her.
That's true.
She can't hear the audio that
I
we're
know.
listening to. So we just look like we're dancing to nothing over here.
We're just jamming out to the Beyond the Pillow theme song. Again, if you are a patron,
yeah,
you
you can
can
go listen.
listen as much as you want because we are going to have to start sharing the other Beyond the Pillow theme songs that we've gotten because they're awesome.
I think Julie might be working this song into her nightly routine, if you know what I mean.
What did you say last week? You were like, if I come to your house and I hear that blasting, I know just
Yes,
to leave.
just go home. I'm
Yes.
just going to turn around and go back home.
Okay, so this is our dream analysis portion of the show.
I cannot wait. This one is from Diane, who sent in a cowboy ghost story years ago that included the photo. I absolutely remember that photo.
Do you? Yes.
I do.
Okay, so we're resharing it. She resent it. Thank goodness.
She says, "Hello, Julie and Rebecca. I have a reoccurring
No,
dream."
it's just recurring.
Is
I
it
actually
recurring?
I looked it up to see. And yes, if you have a dream that
Nerd.
happens over and over again, it's a recurring dream.
Really?
Yes.
Look at that. I have a recurring dream that I own a little house that I have never seen before. When I go inside, it is a multi-story mansion with lots of rooms and staircases. Sometimes I have to walk through a closet to get to the big part. In every dream, the house looks different, but it is enormous when I walk inside. What does this mean? Thanks, Diane C., Cowboy Ghost Girl.
I have this dream all the time. I was so excited when Diane sent this in because I was like, anytime
No.
I have that dream, I'm
Right?
like, I know this means something. So the AI dream analysis says the little house you own in your dream
Mhm.
it symbolizes your self-image. So it's interesting that it's a house you've never seen before. This might suggest that you're discovering new potential. The transformation from a small house to a mansion indicates a journey of self-discovery where you're realizing there's more to you than you initially thought. Each floor and room can represent different layers of your experience. Staircases and closets are significant too. So
Interesting.
staircases often symbolize growth, while the fact that you have to walk through a closet to access a larger part of the mansion suggests there might be things you need to confront, perhaps old beliefs that are holding you back. Reminder, this could all be complete bullshit.
100%.
But I love this because I dream about the closet where you kind of crawl through something and
Mhm.
all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize there was this huge other ballroom here. And part of me always wonders though, when I was a little kid, my grandma had this weird closet and we would go tell ghost stories in
Yeah.
the closet. But when you got through the other side, there was this whole other really cool room
Right.
that led into other parts of the house. So I always kind of wondered if it was influenced by that.
Maybe so.
But it all makes sense,
It
right?
totally does. But mine never have a closet that you go through. It's always like you just open this door and you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this whole other wing of the house.
Right.
Okay. This one comes from our friend Nate, who has been with us from the start. Love you, Nate.
Love
we
you,
appreciate
Nate.
everything that you do for us. I've dreamt this several times throughout my childhood. In the dream, I'm sleeping on our couch, which was green with a flower pattern. This has got to be from the 70s because
yeah.
everybody had that couch.
Yes.
I've attached a pic of me reading on it. Yes, I cannot wait
It
to
is
see
the
it.
cutest.
I believe it. I cannot wait. It sat under a large window in our living room, and in the dream, I wake up when a large, hairy arm reaches through the blinds and touches me on the shoulder. I sit there terrified, but I can't scream. And my dad walks over to me to tell me that there's nothing to be afraid of. He opens the blinds, and there's an 8-foot hairy freaking creature looking down at me. I remember its eyes were shining from the lights in the living room, and it just stood there, motionless. I roll over away from the window, close my eyes, but my dad keeps trying to make me look at it. So then years later, I was in college when my friends and I rented The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh my God, I love this. I love this.
There's a scene, and everyone who's seen it knows, where the creature reaches through the bathroom window to grab someone sitting on the toilet. It is epic.
It is the best scene ever.
I started panicking when we watched it and realized that somehow my parents had shown me this movie. To this day, because of this dream and the movie, I get very nervous sitting under windows, I can imagine, and cannot use the bathroom if there's a window next to the toilet. Nate.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
There's so much good stuff
Right?
with this. And I need to find a way for everyone to see that clip from The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Okay.
So I bought it. I've got it on DVD because when my daughter was in her Bigfoot, stage,
her era of her Bigfoot era,
we literally watched that clip over and over again, just howling because this kid is on the toilet and a big hairy arm reaches through.
Fabulous.
So Nate, one of the first things I want to know is when you started having this dream, were you aware of Bigfoot?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. So, okay. According to the AI dream analysis, they say your dream is packed with symbolism, like the couch may represent the comfort of home, while the intrusion of a large, hairy creature can symbolize overwhelming emotions that feel out of control, which makes so much sense for a little kid. The fact that it reached through the blinds also indicates a breach of your personal boundaries.
Again, this is all making perfect sense.
The presence of your dad is particularly significant. He represents a figure of protection, but in this scenario, he seems to be pushing you to confront your fears instead of shielding you from them, which
that's a dad move, right?
Exactly. And especially when you're that age, they're like, dude, okay, you can't be a little boy anymore. You got to man up.
It's like, let me just push you in the pool.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Also, your inability to scream suggests a feeling of helplessness or being trapped in a situation where you lack control. That last one's big because don't we have those dreams all the time?
All the time.
Exactly. But what is this thing about being little kids and having the dreams about things watching us through a window?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question because I grew up with those all the time.
Same. And we have that like where people are constantly sitting. When I was a little kid, it was an alien watching me through the window.
Right.
And this is kind of the same thing.
Mine was burglars.
Burglars.
Yeah, burglars were watching me through the window.
And we had one recently where it was owls. These creepy owls were watching them through the window and they knew they weren't owls. And it was really scaring them. That just feels like a kid thing. That's another one we need to look up. Okay, so this next story comes from Priscilla.
Hi, Rebecca and Julie. This is Priscilla. I am a longtime listener of Haunted AF, and I have a story to share with you. A few years ago, I worked at a courthouse within the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This courthouse has been said to be haunted, and I took these stories with a grain of salt until I witnessed something. To this day, I still cannot believe that I saw it with my own two eyes. One day, myself and my HR director were in our workstations, and my boss, Sandy, calmly calls my name and says, "Priscilla, please come in here." So I walk into her office, and lo and behold, her calculator or adding machine, whatever you want to call it, was just going nonstop. The roll of tape paper was just continuously just spitting out as if somebody was just pushing the feed button. And she says to me, "I'm not doing this." She goes, "I'm going to crawl under my desk and I'm going to unplug it. Let me know which cord I have to unplug." So unfortunately, scared shitless, I went over and I yanked on the appropriate cord and she unplugs it. And you would think that it would stop running. No, it didn't. The entire tape of paper completely just spits out. So I am making the sign of the cross and I am silently praying. And my boss, Sandy, she just calmly says to whatever, "All right, that's enough. You need to go back where you came from." And within like seconds, the adding machine stops and there's a pool of paper, calculator tape paper on the floor. And she's just looking at me like it's no big deal. She's kind of laughing. And the whole time I'm kind of giggling nervously, but the whole time I'm thinking, holy effing shit, I need to get the hell out of here. So that is my story to share with you. I do have others, not in this courthouse, but throughout my life that I will share later down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. And we need to hear more stories from the courthouse.
Totally. I can hear the ream though. Like as she's telling me that, I can hear that paper ream just coming off. Yes. Oh, it's so creepy. Why is that not in a movie? That's a great scene for a movie.
I don't know, but there's something about the office haunts like that.
Yes.
Because remember, we had one where everybody is sitting in a meeting.
The phone cord, right?
The phone cords start kind of moving around by themselves.
Weren't they like untangling themselves?
Yeah, they were like kind of rolling and everyone was looking at each other like, are you doing that? I'm not doing that. I love it. So we have to say really big thanks to Elizabeth for allowing us in her wonderful house. Not only did she bring us in and show us around and let us tape here, she also gave us wine.
Hell yeah.
I know. So this is a historical home and it's actually like it has a name. When you reached out, you were like, I live in the. So tell us a little bit about the house.
All right. So this is the historic Thomas and Mary Shields home in Old East Dallas. It's on the National Register of Historic Places because Thomas Shields owned a lumber mill and actually built a good portion of East Dallas. There are 4 more homes built by him just on this corner over there. So this actually used to be a whole corner of Shields homes. Thomas Shields built this house in 1905 as his personal home for he and his wife, Mary. Mary is one of the ghosts here. And
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. She gets candles and flowers every day. I talk to her all the time and ask her advice on the restoration. It's probably why there's so many blue rooms in this house because that's her favorite color. But so Shields built this house in 1905. And built houses around here for his kids. They had a whole pack of kids. His son went into business with him. And in 1905, Thomas Shields blew himself away with a shotgun in his lumber mill just up the street. Now, I've read the coroner's report. I actually have it in the other room. The coroner said that it was an accident, that he was cleaning it before hunting.
But hasn't it been proven very difficult to do it with like a shotgun because of the length of the gun?
I don't know, but I know that back then, especially like wealthy people, they were real quick to kind of
cover some things
cover
up.
things up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now it gets even stickier and even more sus when his son took the exact same rifle and blew himself away 1 year later.
Oh,
yes. Which makes me wonder what was going on in that family and with that business that these men felt that was the only way out.
Right.
And then also, how could their son do that to Mary? She's just buried her husband and now her eldest son within a year of each other. But she had a bunch more kids, and I guess they got her through that. So she died in 1949.
And she died in the house?
She did not die in the house.
Okay.
She died in North Dallas. But then I guess she liked the house so much that she came back here.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Right? I'm going to haunt this house. I'm never leaving.
Yeah.
So, tell Mary we'd better get along.
Right? I know. I hope you guys are going to be ghost besties.
Yep.
Mary's the first ghost. And when I bought the house from the previous owners, they all separately told us about all the ghosts. So there's a little boy that lives on the stairs. I haven't seen him, but my godkids have felt the little boy.
Right.
So they hang out on the stairs and they try to find him. And then the most recent death in this house was in 2022 when the last owner, Doug, died of a brain aneurysm upstairs in the back bedroom. And he lay there for 2 or 3 days until he was discovered.
Oh, Doug, I'm so sorry.
Poor Doug.
Yeah, I know. And he hangs around this house because it was his dream house. And I don't blame him for not wanting to leave. So the boys told me that he hangs out on the front porch.
I was going to say, isn't Doug the one that you have seen?
Yes, Doug's the one I've seen. I saw him maybe 2 months ago now. It was wild. I was walking to the front door, which is, this whole big glass thing. And right out of the corner of my eye, like where you are to me right now, this very tall, thin man approached the front door from the side of the porch. And he was wearing khaki pants and he had a white button down polo shirt. Well, not all the way button, a white polo shirt with navy blue stripes across it, wide stripes. And I thought, who is this man on my porch? And as soon as I looked at him full, he disappeared.
I love it.
And I've seen pictures of Doug
Yeah.
from the Facebook page.
I also love that he's like more modern, it's not like the 1800 ghost or whatever. It's just
Right.
from a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he's in like polo and khakis. I love that.
Oh yeah.
So there's the little boy on the stairs, there's Doug on the porch, and also, is it Mary?
And Mary.
Mary.
That's 3 ghosts that you have.
There's one more.
Oh, okay, one more.
But he's not in the house.
Okay.
So
where is he then?
He's out in the backyard. So if you found the Unfair Park Dallas Observer article on this house, you would read how the owner in the early 2000s, Robert Sanchez, was really freaked out by this whole neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so one night, he bought a shotgun, because again, with a shotgun.
What is the
There will
shotgun theme?
never be a shotgun in this house.
Yeah, no, that's
You're
smart.
smart.
Yeah.
Bad things happen. That's like horror movie stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Like Amityville type situation.
Yeah, no shotguns ever in this house. Robert heard a noise in the yard in the middle of the night, and he looked out there, and it's just a vagrant just digging through this old refrigerator that he'd put out there for bulk trash. And he leaned out the window and he blew this guy away. And so that's how Sanchez ended up losing this house, because he got put on trial for murder. He made a plea bargain. He got it downgraded and never did any time, but, all floated the house as quickly as he possibly could. And then the house was bought by this Dallas business magnate. He bought it as a love nest for his 22-year-old pregnant mistress.
Damn.
And his wife found out because the Dallas Central Appraisal District sent the appraisal
The
notice.
bills.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to that address.
Yes.
And
Oh
she's
my
like,
God, that's amazing.
and she's like, we don't own a home in East Dallas.
Guess
Oh,
what?
yes, you do.
So she ends up in possession of the house. So that's when the fire happened, because she let this house sit abandoned, like she was punishing it for her
Sure.
husband's
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
I'm
infidelity.
sorry, house.
Sure.
It's not
Yeah.
your fault.
It's not its fault. So got my work cut out for me.
Yeah, you
putting
do.
it back together.
You do, but it is a beautiful house.
Thank you. It's such a privilege to have it. It's such a privilege to be custodian of it and to just get to know these spirits as much as I can. I mean, the not fun parts of living in a haunted house, y'all were talking about dreams, are the nightmares that come.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
There's a lot of pain and suffering and illness in this house. The spirits are not vindictive, but pain and sickness has sunk into these walls,
Yeah.
just like the smoke has.
Sure.
And it's led to insomnias. It's led to nightmares. It's led to me having to do a lot of cleansings, just trying to clean things up so I can get some sleep.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, is it tough to do a cleansing in a house like this? Because it's like, you don't want to kick anybody out, but then you also need to get a good night's sleep.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you go about that?
Well, you just make your intentions very, very clear. And so before I even waved any, Palo Santo or anything around the house, I said, this is Mary, Doug, little boy. This is not against you. This is not against any of the positive spirits. Oh, the vagrant out back, he's very dark and very confused, and he just doesn't
Sad.
understand.
Oh.
God, that's so sad.
My dad gets on to me. He's like, they don't belong here. You need to tell them to go. I'm like, don't you tell my ghost to go.
Well, and are we sure about that? Like, why do we
Yeah,
get to decide
that's a
who
good
gets to stay and
point.
go?
They want to
Maybe they
stay.
like it here, and this is what they were hoping for their eternity.
Right. If you end up in a beautiful home like this, and especially like you, Elizabeth, like you're spending all this time, you're renovating, you're making it yours, you're embracing the history and the spirit inside of it. It's like, how do you leave something like that?
Right.
Exactly. It's like, why would Mary want to leave? This house was built for her. It's a symbol of her marriage. So of course she wanted to come back to where she was happy.
Yep.
Poor Doug, it was his dream home. I wouldn't leave either. There was a lot of things left in this house when I bought it. Curtains that were very, very heavy, and everything smelled very, very bad. All the upholstery had to go. I took down all the curtains. I took up all the rugs. Took me a couple of weeks to get all of that stuff out so I could actually start unpacking my boxes. And in that time, weird things happened. I managed to simultaneously get locked out of all 3 doors of this house in one go.
Dang.
And I cannot explain that. I had to call my little brother and be like, Trey, can you please come over here and let me in?
Doug was 100% following you around the house.
Oh,
When you would
yeah.
try, click.
Absolutely. He's like, who's this bitch? She's bringing my shit out. So I started apologizing. I pulled down another curtain. I'm like, I'm sorry, Doug. It's dark and it smells bad. And the house
You're like,
needs
I'm
lights.
living. I can't put up with the smell.
Oh my God. One night when I was setting up my closet, I hung all of my little silk nightgowns up on a hanger. They were all in the same hanger because they're little. I went in the morning and they had all been pulled off the hanger and thrown onto the ground.
Ooh.
I felt like that was a very personal thing.
Sure.
And my very first night in this house, I was alone because my little brother hadn't moved in yet. and a big storm came through, which is terrifying in a wooden house. And the back door just blew open completely. And that might not have been dug, but it's a perfect way to start life in a haunted house.
Totally.
With 70-mile-an-hour winds, with the thunder and the lightning, and the house wobbling like the big bad wolf's trying to blow it down.
God, they were freaking welcoming you.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's great.
And then the back doors flew open, so it set off the alarm system.
So wait, you said that there's a Facebook page.
There's actually two. If you look up the Thomas and Mary Shields house, that's Doug's old page, and Danny can't take it down because he doesn't have the password for it.
Okay.
But
what an amazing way to have a connection with Doug, too.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it still lives on forever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
and it's really cool because you can see how he put up all of the old real estate pictures from when he bought it. And so you can see, the hasty sanitized renovations that went in after the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can actually see him building this house into a beautiful home for the people he loved. And that's what really hurts me, because he got the house and he barely had it for I think he bought it in 2017 and then he died in 2022. So he had this house for like 5 minutes.
Years. So there are a couple of places then. So there's that Facebook page, and then there's the second Facebook page. So
which is just the Shields house.
Okay, so we are going to link both of those.
Many thanks.
And so if you want to follow any of that, make sure you go to the companion blog. And we're going to be sharing some of the photos because Elizabeth was great. She took us all over the house. We've got lots of
so many pictures,
and
videos.
It's just beautiful. And I think that's what the idea of a haunted house is like. We have these haunted attractions over the holidays, and it's like some idiot chasing you with a chainsaw or whatever. But it's like, actually, haunted houses are amazing. They're beautiful. And you don't want to kick out the ghost. You don't want to change anything. It's like you just want to get in and soak it up a little bit. So thank you so much for letting us do this today. It's been so much fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming, ladies. It's such a pleasure to have you all. And I love the podcast. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
It's fantastic, especially when I'm in the gym. Get some ghost stories.
That'll make you run.
Yeah,
exactly. That's my cardio.
All right, guys, just a reminder that we have loads of cute merch in the Haunted AF online store. It is a great way to support the show and an excellent gift idea.
Seriously.
Also, a lot of you guys have been buying stuff lately, so we really appreciate that, but we want to see you wearing it. Please send us your pictures with all your goodies on. We love that shit. That includes you, Scott, who's been producing all of our new theme songs, including Beyond the Pillow.
Yeah, we sent him a couple of hats.
Yay. Oh, I love that. By the way, we posted that on our Patreon page. So if you would like to go and listen to it, you absolutely can. You can do it over and over as many times as you want to. Julie, looking at you. It will only cost you a whole $5 a month.
So we're back next week. In fact, we're going to be back every week this month, except Thanksgiving, because we're both traveling. So you know the drill. We want the scary stories, the glitches, money and otherwise, more Bigfoot, because
why not?
We love Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Even if he's grabbing us while we're sitting on the toilet.
I'm like, fingers crossed.
And send those dreams for us to analyze to hauntedafpodcast@gmail.com so we can use it all on the next Haunted AF.